My name's Jim Oliff. I'm a second generation trader on the floor. My trading symbol was Filo, F-I-L-O, which is really Oliff spelled backwards, but I like to tell people it stood for my trading style, first in, last out. I started working back in 1968. I was a student at Brandeis University, and my father was very upset that they had no business education at Brandeis. It was strictly a liberal arts school. So he had me drop out of school for a semester and come down to the floor to learn business firsthand. That was 3 or 4 buildings ago, back when we were on West Washington Street. And the biggest form of technology back then was a Polaroid camera. You could use the camera and take a picture of the blackboards, which they used, to mark down the prices, and then take the picture of it. In 30 seconds you would have it, then you could erase the blackboard and use it again. So we were environmentally conscious way back in 1968. I worked on the floor and fell in love with it, and then it became a struggle to get me to go back to school. But my father bribed me, and he said that if I graduated college and then went on to law school, practiced law for 1 year, then he would get me a seat on the exchange. So I did him one day better. I practiced law for 1 year and 1 day and went down on the floor. I remember back in '68 coming on the trading floor and only seeing organized chaos. But as soon as I saw the place, my blood started rushing, and I knew that that was the place for me. It was just unbelievable. And the integrity of the people on the floor. My father used to be a lawyer. In fact, he told me that he gave up the practice of law and he came down to the floor because he noticed that in all of his practice of law, to do a $25,000 contract, he'd have to write a contract of 40 pages to make certain that all parties were covered. Yet when he came down on the floor, all he had to do was nod at somebody and say done, and he knew that he wouldn't have any problems with transactions of $100,000 or more. My most memorable moment was probably when I was a director of the exchange, and I had the privilege of chairing the strategic planning committee that ultimately led to the demutualization of the exchange, when we were finally able to unlock all of the values that we had in our memberships and be able to get stock out of it and be able to enrich ourselves that way. Probably the most important thing a trader needs on the trading floor is discipline, discipline, discipline. And then probably the fourth most important thing is discipline. My funniest memory, probably the day that there was a fast market in cattle and there was total chaos within that pit. And all of a sudden, Lenny Feldman screams out, "Stop trading! Stop trading! Stop trading!" And despite all of the pandemonium, the trading stopped. And Lenny looked around and he said, "Wait a minute, I'm checking my cards. I think I'm broke." As for my favorite charity or charities, Children's Brittle Bone Foundation, I've been very, very active with. Also, the developmentally disabled organization Clearbrook, which does wonderful things in terms of education, employment, and and living for the developmentally disabled. I'm very involved with Brandeis University, which was my alma mater, and I'm also involved with Kent State. But the biggest charity that I'm involved with right now, I'm a trustee of the CME Group Foundation, which is doing wonderful things for mathematical education in preschool and elementary school, and trying to retain Chicago as the derivative center of knowledge for the higher education universities and doctoral programs.
Thank you.